There's a lot of sex myths, actually. A lot of superstitions about sex because it's hard to get solid information. One sex myth is that you have to touch yourself to have an orgasm. Well, of course, somebody else could touch you. That's one way to have an orgasm. I think everyone agrees. But even when you're by yourself, the whole idea that you have to be touched to have an orgasm is a myth. Touch is great. Hey, we need touch. I'm not trying to say that, touch is not essential. But there are times when you kind of want to have an orgasm and you can't touch yourself. You're in public, maybe. Yes, you can have an orgasm in public with very few people noticing, such as at the gym. I mean, you could do it while you're sitting waiting for a bus or something, but I like the gym because, of course, you're wearing tight clothes like, yoga pants or a leotard, tights, and it just kind of rubs against the right places. And if you do the leg extensions, in and out, and in and out, it kind of creates that foreplay for orgasm. And there's an internal thing that has to go on. This is not the kind of orgasm that you have just by thinking, although it is a good thing to think erotic thoughts. But you do work your sex muscles inside. Now, what are your sex muscles? That would be called your PC muscle, but it's not very politically correct. It's also not a computer. It's the human computer. It's part of you. It's your body. It's your insides. It's your pubococcygeus muscle. It's quite a mouthful there. It's got the word cock in it, though, so you can remember it. I can't even say it. Pubococcygeus muscle. You know what it's easier to say? Your Kegel muscles, right? They're actually muscles that are very helpful to squeeze and release and strengthen, if you're going to have a baby. And that's why they're named after Arnold Kegel, who invented this exercise, or at least he popularized this exercise in order to help women have babies. But it's also a great exercise to just give yourself an orgasm, as well as to train your internal muscles to have orgasms more easily if you're a woman. If you're a man, it helps you to control your orgasm so you don't come before you want to, as well as, come when you want to. It's just basically a muscle that you should exercise. Since we're talking about the gym here, we exercise all our other muscles. Why shouldn't we exercise our sex muscle? This is the sex muscle. Okay, brothers and sisters, where is it? Well, it's in your inside of your genitalia, and you can do an exercise to find it when you're peeing, okay? And this is also no hands. Don't have to use your hands for this. Unless you're a guy and you're standing up, but if you're on the pot, you don't have to, you just stop yourself from peeing. All of a sudden, that's your PC muscle, okay? Kegel muscle also, that's the one. It's the squeeze, that internal squeeze, not in the ass, that's the sphincter muscle. Okay, it's a good muscle too, though. Very sexy muscle. You want to kind of learn to play your muscles. It's like you've got an oboe in there or a clarinet. You could just play and play and play. You are a sexual instrument. And this is all without touching. This is internal squeezing and releasing. Now, when you first try this exercise, you may not be able to hold your squeeze very long. And don't overdo it. You don't want to strain the muscle, because if you go to the ER with this problem, it's a little embarrassing. Okay, so you want to just squeeze and release very kind of gently, but consistently. You keep doing this, it will turn you on. But there's another essential aspect to having an orgasm without touching, and that is the breath of life. Breathing, yes. A lot of people do yoga, tantra. This is all good. essentially, it's all about breathing into your genitalia. Most of us are up in our heads and in our feet, walking around, thinking, doing stuff with our hands. Again, no hands. This is all about breathing into your vulva if you're a lady, or your cock if you're a man, and and I forget all the other genitalia in between, and all the other genders. It's all about breathing. We all breathe. We all need to breathe, but sometimes we forget to breathe, or because we're afraid, we stop breathing. And sometimes sex makes us afraid, especially if you're in the gym and trying to have an orgasm. You might be afraid. So don't be afraid, because the whole idea of holding your breath is a throwback to an earlier time when you had to keep quiet in case predators were around. So you'd hold your breath. Well, there's no predators around. I mean, unless you are doing this surrounded by predators. But still, we hold our breath, gotta let it go. Take a deep breath in and out, and squeeze that PC muscle and release it, and squeeze it and think those erotic thoughts and do your exercise. I bet you're already having an orgasm, not even touching, right? See, another myth busted.